This video is for educational purposes only. All the attacks that were performed in this video was performed in a controlled virtual lab environment. We have used virtual machines on an isolated private network to carry out these attacks. The presenter is not responsible for any misuse of the information presented in this video and does not support any malicious hacking activities. Please keep in mind hacking systems is a cybercrime and will land you in prison if you misuse any of these tools on systems for which you don't have permission. So please use all these tools wisely. Let's move on to the demonstration now. Hello and welcome back to another session on cybersecurity. In this session, we're going to take a look at how to perform vulnerability scans using Nessus Essentials. So in my previous session, I have talked to you about installation of Nessus Essentials on Kali Linux. I have given an in-depth view of how to install Nessus Essentials on Kali Linux. So please have a visit of my previous video lecture. I'll be leaving the link for that lecture in the description below. So first install Nessus, you start the Nessus service and then you'll be able to view this page using the specific URL https://127.0.0.1:8834. So here I'll be entering my username and password. So let's click sign in. So it's we are logging into Nessus here. So from Nessus, we'll be performing a vulnerability scans on other systems. So here my victim system is Metasploitable 2. So Kali Linux and Metasploitable 2 are the two virtual machines I have running on Oracle VirtualBox. So Kali Linux is actually running Nessus, the application which you're seeing here. And here you have Metasploitable 2, my vulnerable Linux machine with the IP address 192.168.56.103. So I'll be scanning my vulnerable machine using Nessus. So how to start with a scan? Say you go to scans and then you can click on new scan. That's how you start a scan. So there are various options available. The first option is host discovery. So it's just for discovering the hosts in our network and then open ports available in our victim's machine. It's just host discovery. And the vulnerabilities scans come under vulnerabilities. We all know what a vulnerability is if a system has got vulnerability, it's a weakness in the system. It can be because of an misconfigured server which allows null sessions. It can be because of a weak password, or it can be because of an absence of a password. A vulnerability even can be an outdated application running in your system with weaknesses which the hackers can target. So vulnerabilities are actually security weaknesses that a system has and which the hackers will exploit if they find out such vulnerabilities exist in your system. See, if you have a vulnerability like an outdated software running in your system, or an outdated operating system with open ports, with no security configurations, then what an hacker can do is he can use these scans, basic network scan. We're going to take a look at how to perform this. So this is going to perform a full system scan and give what kind of vulnerabilities exist in what kind of applications on your system and what kind of vulnerabilities exist in your operating system. So such kind of details will give basic network scan. So we'll be having a look at that in today's session. See, the other scans maybe in the later sessions we'll take a look at. We'll also look at web application test. So scan for web vulnerabilities. Say you have some web server and a web platform running. You want to scan for vulnerabilities like whether that web platform has cross-site server scripting vulnerability or a SQL injection vulnerability. All those vulnerabilities we can list using web application tests. So we'll be taking a look at these two scans in today's session. Maybe the other scans we'll be taking a look at in the other sessions. So let's start with host discovery. So let's click on host discovery and let's see. So it's taking some time now. Let's wait. So here we have this page loading up. So here we can give some name for a scan, say first host scan, something like that. And you can also give some description if you wanted. Say scanning my victim system. This description can be specific on why you are carrying out this specific task. And folder, you can select a folder. I leave it to the default. Now you can enter the target's IP. See, the target's IP for me is 192.168.56.103. So you can very well scan the entire subnet, or you can give a list of IPs separated by a comma. So you can give a range of IPs. So I just have one target, so I'm going to give 192.168.56.103, and you can also add a file to upload the list of targets. So these are the options available. Since I have only one target, I'm just giving the target info here. Not only that, you have other options here. You can schedule when exactly this scan should run. Say once when it is enabled, you can see frequency, how many times I want to run this scan, whether it is daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly, and when the scan should start, and what is the time zone for the scan. So you can also schedule the scan, so it starts running the scan on the specific scheduled time. And notifications is like sending emails. Who will get the email on the results? So for this, you should be running an SMTP server. So I'm not going to send emails. I'm not going to configure an SMTP server for this. So, but this option is available for us. That's with the basic. So we have entered some data for general and discovery. So what is there in discovery? Host enumeration, OS identification, port scan common ports, port scan all ports, or custom. So what kind of information you want to gather about your host? So here I'll just leave it as host enumeration. If you're specific about scanning all ports or scanning some common ports, you can select that specific option. So that's host enumeration, which we have selected. And when you talk about reports, see, you can also generate reports out of the result, which you can directly mail to the authorities who are in need of these things. So you can select some options on what your output report should contain. So allow users to edit scanned results in the report. So display hosts that respond to ping. So here we are doing host discovery. We are not actually even performing vulnerability analysis, I'll say. We are just performing host discovery. That is our basic scan. And in advanced options, so this is like an option which pen testers can use while they are testing the systems. Say you go to an organization, you start testing the systems, and you should ensure that you're not overloading the systems. See how many network timeout and slow down the scan when the network congestion is detected. See, we're not going to scan rigorously when we are detecting a network congestion. That is because we are not going to overload the network when and thereby bringing down services or anything like that. So performance options, you can select how many max simultaneous checks per host, max simultaneous hosts per scan. So I'm going to leave all these things to the default here, and there are a lot of options wherein you can determine how many times an host should be scanned, how many simultaneous hosts can be scanned, and all those things. So this thing, mostly if you're not going to overload the network with your scans, we can have those options set here. So these things come under advanced scan. So we just selected the basic and we have included general. We have given the target IP. Now let's save this. Once when you have saved this, you will get this first host scan here, and you see we have not even started this. So let's click on that, and then you'll have this option launch, which will launch the specific scan on the target. So let me launch this scan. So it starts scanning. It's actually discovering the hosts on the network. So let's see what is the kind of information we are going to get. So all these scans take a lot of time, and depending on your host and depending on the vulnerabilities in your host. So Here it's going to say if you're performing a vulnerability scan, it's going to also give us the vulnerability scores. So it's a common vulnerability scoring system, CVSS. So according to the vulnerability databases, a score is available for each vulnerability. Based on the score, we can categorize whether a vulnerability is severe, critical, or is it of medium or high impact. So using that vulnerability scores, it tells us what kind of vulnerabilities exist, whether it is a critical vulnerability, whether it's a medium vulnerability, or it's just an information like that. So here you see it's able to discover one of the hosts, and it's able to see tell us what ports are open in this host. So this is my victim, and 74% of the scan is done so far. So all these scans take a lot of time, and I would say you can have your victim set up and then start running these scans. So this host discovery scan is just for discovering. It's just an information kind of a thing, where it tells us what kind of ports are open, what is that scan. See, it says the remote host is up, and the remote host reply to an ARP whois query, and it's able to find the MAC address and things like that. Not only that, it's also going to give you more info on the ports that are open with respect to that specific host. So port scanners are running. So you're going to get all the data here. We'll check whether the host is up with an ARP ping, ICMP ping, TCP ping, and UDP ping. So if the remote host was alive or not. So that's what is the basic idea behind running this scan. What is that scan we have run? That is host discovery scan. So let me go to my scans, and here I have my first basic scan on demand. So it's called on demand because we didn't schedule the scan. It's an immediate scan that we did. This is the scan that tells us the ports that are open, and it gives information on whether the host is alive or not. That's it. Let's go to other scans. Let's go to scans again, and let's start a new scan. And we have just now understood how to use host discovery. Let's take a look at a basic network scan. So here is where we are going to scan for vulnerabilities, a full system scan suitable for any host. Let's check what we can do with basic system scan. So again, we have this info wherein I'll say first basic system scan. I've already run all these scans. These scans are taking a lot of time. So scanning for my students. That's a weird description, but anyway, I'm doing it for my students here, my class. And the targets, again, you can load the targets. You can have a list of targets. I'm going to give 56.103. That's my target. So pretty much the same like what you did for host discovery. Again, you have schedule option wherein you can schedule the scan. You can generate notifications to whomsoever who needs the results. And you have discovery. So I'm going to port scan for common ports. That's the objective here. And assessment. So you have another option, assessment here. Scan type, scan for known web vulnerabilities, scan for all web vulnerabilities, scan for web vulnerabilities that are complex, or you can have your own custom options. I will leave this to default, and it's going to scan for vulnerabilities on the victim. Reports, yeah, you can generate reports as I told you, whether you can scan the results and send. So allow users to edit results. So you can generate reports. Advanced options, scan type, scan low bandwidth links. I leave this to default. So once when you have done everything, you can click on save. So what is that we have done this? Says first basic system scan. So this is the thing. We'll click on that. And what we can do here is we can very well, as usual, click on launch to launch the scan. If you want to configure something, again, you can click on configure, but we'll launch the scan. So it starts to identify vulnerabilities in our host. So it's going to give us a detailed report on the vulnerabilities. I've already done this scan and it's going to take a lot of time. So let's go to my scans. So first basic system scan is running. Let me pass it since it's going to take time. I have here first basic scan which I've already run few days back. So let's open this. It was run on the same target, and you can see this is what I was telling you. So it's going to list us all the vulnerabilities existing in that specific target, and it is going to rank those vulnerabilities as critical, mixed, high, medium, low, or it's just info. So when you say it's low, it's based on the CVSS score, vulnerability scoring system. So if you look at the vulnerability databases, they give a score for each vulnerability. Based on the score, if the score is low, it says it's a low vulnerability. If the score is high, say this vulnerability score is 10, so it's a critical vulnerability. So you're going to have critical, see, gain a shell remotely. That's a critical vulnerability. Once when you scan the host and you find vulnerabilities, it gives us a very good graph or a chart which says how many critical vulnerabilities, how many medium type vulnerabilities are available, and a pie chart is also available. Not only that, we also get remediations like Samba bad luck vulnerability. So here we have a Samba server which is having an issue in my victim, and the remediation here is we have to upgrade the Samba server version to a better version. So it also gives us remediations wherever it is possible. And history. So when you have last scanned the specific victim, the history of these scans also is also available. So you can perform a vulnerability scan using that specific scan called basic scan, and it gives us info about the types of vulnerabilities available on your victim. And you can also generate a report. See, when you click on report, complete list of vulnerabilities, and you can just click on generate report. So it will generate a readily available PDF version of the report. I selected PDF, and you can select what kind of data should be going into the report. So even before starting the scan, we were selecting some options for report rights. You allow the users to edit the results in that before generating that report. So those kind of options are available, and using those options also we are generating the reports here. So it's taking some time for generating the reports because the number of vulnerabilities here is 63. So it's going to add complete list of vulnerabilities to the report. Okay, here our report is generated. It took some time for creating the report. Let's have a quick look at how this report looks. So here is this report PDF file, vulnerabilities by host. So it gives us again that info. So it converts all the data to a PDF file so that you can also mail this file to whomsoever is in need of this information on the vulnerabilities that exist in this specific victim. So a detailed report can be immediately generated and mailed to users or people who are in need of that specific report. So we have understood something about what is that scan we have understood now. The scan that we have understood now is a basic network scan which is used for finding vulnerabilities. The vulnerability can also be a missing patch in the system. What patches are not updated? As we have seen, the Samba server is an outdated server and we should upgrade it to the latest version. So it also gives us remediations for certain vulnerabilities. The next type of scan that we're going to see is web application test. So it's going to scan for published and unknown web vulnerabilities using Nessus scanner. So when you talk about web vulnerabilities, what kind of web applications I'm going to test here is, I have some web applications running on my Apache server in Metasploitable 2. So I'll be just using the IP address here 192.168.56.103 I'll go to Kali Linux, and then if I just give that specific IP, you can see there's a default page loading up. So it says that there's an web server running and loading a web application. So we're going to scan this target now with respect to finding vulnerabilities on the web application. So let's now go to Kali Linux. We are in Kali Linux actually. Let's go to web application tests. Let's click on that, and let's say first web application test. I already run the scan, but this is a scan for all the students of my class. So, and here we'll paste the target. I mean, we can just give the IP. Now the scan will be specific to the web application running on this IP, and it will be scanning the web servers, web application, a lot of things. So, and as usual, you can schedule the scans when it should run. You can generate notifications upon getting results. Let's click on discovery. So we'll be scanning for some common ports, and assessment. Scan for known web vulnerabilities. Scan for all web vulnerabilities quick. Maybe it's quick. I'll select this option, and we are scanning for web vulnerabilities here. Web applications and its servers. What are the web vulnerabilities that exist on my victim? And report, as usual, we can select options for creating the report. Advanced, this is like scan low bandwidth links. Custom, I leave this thing to default. Let's save this. So first, what is that? We have given here first web application test, and we can launch. So this is going to take a lot of time, I will say. So it's going to find out all the vulnerabilities, mostly focused on web vulnerability. So it's going to tell us whether it's going to have SQL injection vulnerability, cross-site server scripting vulnerability, and things like that. So I've already done this scan. So let me go to my scans again. Let me pass this scan. I just told you how to start the scan. It's going to take a lot of time. Let's pass this. So it's already started. Okay, this is not the one. I'm sorry. So here, first web application test. We should pass this scan. Let me pass it. See, I've already run this. I think I've given the name as scan dvwa. So when you take a look at this, this is the same scan which I performed on the victim from a web application and web vulnerability perspective. So you can see here it's scanning for vulnerabilities in the web servers, Apache web server, and a lot of other vulnerabilities. So you can just scan through the vulnerabilities. You can get info about the vulnerabilities. So let's click on the specific thing, Apache web server. What is the vulnerability that exists? Tomcat AJP connector request injection. So that's the vulnerability, and it also gives us the solution. Update the AJP configuration to require authorization or upgrade Tomcat server. It's just an upgrade of my Tomcat server on the victim. So we get to know a lot about the vulnerabilities with respect to web application servers and the web application running on that specific victim. So that's what we are seeing here. So you can very well go through every vulnerability, and that's what we have just now seen. So it says delete the default index page. It also gives us some solution for vulnerabilities which we can follow and update. So that's it. We can get a detailed report about this. We can generate the report. We can send the report to whomsoever we want. So this is one more vulnerability which it gives us. It tells us the remote web server may be vulnerable to iframe injections or clickjacking attack and cross-site scripting attacks. So XSS attacks are possible on the victim. So we get to know a lot of things. Even if you have SQL injection on your PHP MyAdmin running, you can get information about those kinds of attacks too. So this entire scan we have performed was focused on web application test, scanning your web applications and web servers. So that's it for this session. So what all scans or what all things we have learned in today's session? We have learned to perform host discovery using Nessus essentials, and we understood what is a basic network scan from a vulnerability scanning perspective, and we have seen how we can generate reports after the scan. We have seen the various options available with basic network scan. And finally, we looked at web application tests wherein we focused on scanning web applications running on my victim. And we were able to get a lot of information about the various vulnerabilities, web vulnerabilities that exist on my victim's web server and web applications. I hope this gave you a very good insight on how to use Nessus Essentials for scanning your victim machines. If you have any questions, you can leave those questions as comments. I'll be looking into those comments and answering your questions. I hope you all had a nice session. I hope you enjoyed this session. That's it for now. Take care.